What do you want to say about sanctions, something else you've been working on, of course? What are you planning there in terms of Iran and the impact there? Do sanctions actually work? And the same question with regard to 500% secondary sanctions or tariffs on countries who purchase energy products from Russia.
Okay, so two things there. There are Treasury sanctions. And if you look at a speech that I gave at the Economic Club of New York last March, I said that I believe the Iranian currency was on the verge of collapse, that if I were an Iranian citizen, I would take my money out. President Trump ordered Treasury and our OFAC division, Office of Foreign Asset Control, to put maximum pressure on Iran, and it's worked. Because in December, their economy collapsed. We saw a major bank go under. The central bank has started to print money. There is a dollar shortage. They are not able to get imports. And this is why the people took to the street. So this is economic statecraft. No shots fired. And things are moving in a very positive way here.
Peace, and blessing are in this day for the ones who serve Islam. Assalamu alaikum. And the main part is peace and blessings. And I hope the most, as today is the end of Ramadan, we got a show for you today.
What's going on, brothers?
Wait, hold up. I'm your host, Henry, co-host, Shin JML. We have our special military, our special analyst, my brother St. Pat, and our good friend Tobias. We got a show for you tonight. Stay tuned to the end. Make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like, share. Please hype. If you could hype the channel up, let more people know. So let me drop some information on you. We got a website. Our new website is www.newsroom16.com. You would catch us on TikTok at newsroom_16. And also, if you want to throw a cash donation, you would catch us on Cash App, $Newsroom16. It's not mandatory. It's if you want to help the channel, it's a blessing. It'll help keep the internet flowing freely without no problem. But tonight, we're going deep inside the Iranian crisis. First, they said that they would hit Iran with sanctions. That's failed. They said that Iran had nuclear weapons. They was close to the grade of enrichment for nuclear weapons. and they bombed the nuclear facility and said that the mission was complete, but wind up going back into Iran to bomb it some more. Now we are facing every day new escalations. So let's have the panel jump in, introduce themselves, greetings and everything. So Shin, how you doing? How you doing?
You already know, baby boy. We getting work. We out here. Me and Henry, we've been doing a lot of collecting of the data in real time, getting these stories together because a lot of news been percolating out here when it comes to this Iranian conflict. And you can see, as you can see on the thumbnail, that the oil and the gas ain't doing nothing but going up.
Yes, yeah. St. Pat, how you doing tonight? How you doing? How everything going? From where you coming from?
Good after, good afternoon, or good night, good morning, wherever you might be tuning in to. This is St. Patrick from California, Louisiana, California. You know what I'm saying? Los Angeles, California. I'm doing good. Everything is all right with me, man. I'm just saying that I'm thinking from a whole different perspective when it comes. What if this is a major global conspiracy and everybody is in cahoots? Everybody in, the top Iranian officials are known are to believe to be dead. If they are, they're dead, right? So there's somebody else running the government. What if that somebody else or that group of people is in touch with our country under the guise of being enemies, but actually working together for a greater conspiracy of world domination? Maybe they throw something that out, throw that on your head for a minute, and they both the Iranians and the Americans and the Israelis are working together.
I can
All right.
agree.
St. Patrick, it sounded like a 90s after school special, my guy.
I can agree with brother St. Patrick for sure.
So okay, Tobias, how everything going? Where you coming from? What's the dealio?
What's going on, my brother? What's going on, brother St. Patrick, Jamal? I got two things. I want to let y'all know that this week I'm live from Vegas, and this is the week I took my the beat trip. We went to Utah, Arizona, Nevada, went to all the national park. Well, not all of them, but a few. We gonna brother Jamal and brother Henry gonna get the videos together to present them and everything. That's their footage. And number two, I sent something to Jamal yesterday, and I was laughing with him because I'm usually not right about this type of shit, I must admit. But last time we met, I was telling y'all that I think, like, my theory was that, this is going to be the time where, like, for the first time we've seen where the majority of people are going to be against the American government, whether it be war. And I sent Jamal this guy who's an admiral, and he actually got kicked out of court, approaching Congress and everything, because he was making it known that most people don't agree with this war. And yes, it has been, like, internally, militarily, it's been a lot of conflict because people are honestly refusing to serve their duty, not serve their duty, but what's the right way to say it? Perform their duty because of the disagreements. So so yeah, man, let's just touch on what you already got ready, and we gonna elaborate as usual. Did y'all hear me well?
As we showed on the intro video, we had the Treasury Secretary said that sanctions against Iran will cripple Iran. So when they sanctioned Iran, they manipulated the currency. They manipulated Iran currency, so that put a drop rate. So when the currency went down, you had a protest. The protest started with shopkeepers because money issue that they wouldn't be able to sell their produce because people wouldn't be able to afford their produce. because America manipulation of Iran currency. From there, then you had a protest where Mossad and other actors played a part in causing deaths. And it was known that the Islamic Republic also executed and arrested individuals because of that protest. And from that protest, Donald Trump threatened Iran and started sending military assets to the region. But analysts believe that Donald Trump did not attack Iran during the protest because they was bogged down dealing with Venezuela. So the sanctions we see not working, but we gonna add another atmosphere. So we gonna show this video, and from this video, we gonna discuss.
To ask about something that just happened tonight. The U.S. lifted sanctions on 140 million barrels of Iranian oil. The U.S. lifted sanctions on Iran. So just to be clear, the administration is now allowing Iran, the country that it is at war with, to sell its oil, make money, and almost certainly use that money in its war against the U.S. Why?
Dan, I think you have to tell the rest of that story. That's a little bit misleading.
Please.
The measure is targeted towards oil that's already out there on ships, already out there in storage, and to the previous question is very temporary.
So how do y'all feel about this video? Do this video give y'all an understanding of the situation? And what do y'all feel the situation is?
I'm in over the
First of
past
all, I
few
gotta
days.
say this first and foremost.
Oh, go ahead.
St. Patrick got that right there gave credit to exactly what St. Patrick said in the intro off rip. That's all I gotta say for right now. You can go ahead, Tobias.
Sure.
You can put your input.
No, I mean, to be honest, not being sarcastic, but I don't have nothing to say because you said it. Like, you know what I mean? It's a good thing when great minds think alike. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what I was about to say. St. Patrick hit the nail on the head before he had the hammer. That and again, that video, as Jamal said, definitely proved that statement to be true.
So St. Pat, how you feel about what they just said and what you feel about the video and how do you feel that it resonates with what you said? Do you hear?
No, I think you mute. You
You
mute, brother.
muted. You muted. He might be having another conversation with some.
Sorry about that. What I'm seeing from behind the scenes, or what my people are giving me info on, is that this is all a conspiracy. This is all prearranged, just like you just said. They manipulated the currency. They was already doing Venezuela. I think it was a U.S. general a while back said, "Hey man, we're going to overthrow 7 countries in several years," and they've been doing it, bam, 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 like left and right. Just taking out the leadership, already have their own people behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Doing their thing, right? They said the leader of Iran said, "Hey man, we're gonna have $200 gas. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna recuperate the money that y'all tried to ban from us. We're gonna bring the gas prices so up because that's all we sell." So the Israelis like, all right, that's what you gonna do. We gonna drop some bombs and make it look like we gonna cut some of your production of oil. Nah, you didn't do that. What you did was hit the Abu Dhabis. I think I'm saying it right. The other country that share that same gas field. right? To cut their production off so you could have your own gas production by yourself. We already got our people infiltrated in the government. We already got our people there. They gonna siphon the money back to Israel, as well as give y'all some money to do y'all own thing. And we gonna build Israel back up and refill our coffers with that gas money, right? This all a global elite power plays. We behind the scenes think it's what the media is saying and what they putting out, but really this is what's happening. It's a global power play to consolidate the world governments. See, the Ayatollah tell them, man, hey man, we not gonna give y'all our central bank. We not gonna do that. So you got to be eliminated. You don't stand for having a global central bank in your country. Yeah. You the only people that got it. We about to take out Venezuela, who you bank with, right? To cut off your last banker, right? That deal with your dollar. You know what I'm saying? That'll buy stuff from. I know y'all getting the Venezuela oil, producing it for them and selling it on open market. Fucking over our oil companies. We gotta stop that shit. You know, it's really diabolical how everybody is interwoven, all these secret governments, really with its secret corporations behind the scenes manipulating all this shit, making us as the common people think one thing and another. Fuck the nuclear bombs. We know they ain't have no nuclear bombs. Anybody got a anybody got a nuclear deterrent, we don't fuck with because we know we could get hit. Ain't gonna be one life. There's gonna be a gang of lives at one. Which call when you mass our armada fleet, that's one bomb for the whole fleet. You know what I'm saying? So no, they ain't coming down with nuclear weapons and stuff like that. But they are doing a government secret flop on us and protection. This was predicted by Alfred Pike in his book. You know what I'm saying? A Freemason. So I'm gonna just put y'all on that and y'all tell me what y'all think and go with it, run with it.
You heard. More study information.
Talking about that Alfred Pike information, you can find that information on our YouTube channel when you go to the videos. Go to our video selection, go down, and we got that Alfred Pike information where he speak of the starting of World War III. Because right now, Iran is shipping their oil. Iran in the middle of war, where the United States supposed to have sanctioned Russia, they lift the sanction off of Russia. When the United States supposed to have sanction on Iran, and this is the time they supposed to be bombing everything, they allow tankers to leave southern Iran with oil. They just allowed 2 India tankers to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. And oil transfer is getting done in the yen. I hope I pronounced it right. The yen. That is Chinese currency. The yuan.
Nah, the yen is. Hold on, Henry. Hold
The
on. The yen
yuan.
is Japanese, bro.
The yuan. My
That's
bad.
Japanese. The yen. It's the
The
yuan.
yuan. Yeah, the yuan. I had to double check it. The yuan.
And
That
I wanted to say
is
about the Freemasonry cat. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you want to really get into it, which I guess Donald Trump and them boys and Pete Hessick is getting into it. They're trying to play out the Book of Revelations, specifically when it's talking about the Euphrates River drying up and the kings of the east meet the kings of the west for the battle of the Armageddon, you know, and it's gonna bring in the new world order. And it just brings credit for what St. Patrick said, because everybody knows that, well, I don't know if everybody knows, but they should, that the Bible itself is also a Freemasonic manuscript, because it was written, well, not written, but it was compilated by the Council of Nicaea and the Council of Chalcedon in the early hundreds of the AD era before 1000. And basically they put into effect, if we want to use terminology everybody can understand, similar to America, the manifested destiny of the one world government, the one world religion, and the one world military, law enforcement force. And ICE is part of that. They're here to quell the civilian populace. They're here to censor us and try to keep us in control. Wow, we disagree, like Tobias said, at the highest rate ever, over a conflict in a foreign nation, against a foreign nation. And it's getting deep to the point where we ain't got no choice, but as the people, we gonna have to really, I'm not, we don't advocate violence, and we don't advocate this disruption in the sense of trying to do some malicious acts out here. But we do, however, promote civil disobedience, and we do promote passive aggressive techniques for us to be able to leverage the government into following what the people want, and not what the high percent 1% of elites want to be able to do for their own pockets.
So we might be doing like some, what was that? The War of the Gods or something like that. It was a Greek show where the gods would sit there over like a little play porn, and they would play with the Greek figures and the monsters and stuff, and it wind up being real life events. These
That sounds
power up,
familiar.
like,
Isn't that the battle of the gods and men?
uh, might be with Pegasus,
The
Odysseus.
war of the gods and
Wait,
men. Yeah, I know
Pegasus
it,
is
because I know
from.
which one you're talking about. It's an old movie.
That sounds
So
interesting.
so now when we see things, excuse me, when we see things, we see that we got the UN, the United Nations. These United Nations, they run by their own set of rules. So that means it's already a form of one world politics, and they run of their own scale, different than civilians and citizens and common folk. As Iran would say, the Epstein file, the Epstein class. We realize that, hey, they come to negotiations, they talk, they all got banking system. Yes, it worked. They work together. But to the full extent, we don't know what their end plan is, but a lot of the things that they want in place, they put it in our face so they could pacify us. So we're gonna go ahead to the next clip of what occurred this morning that started the chain reaction of you attack my nuclear reactor, I'm gonna attack your nuclear reactor, and also I'm gonna attack your military base from a distance to show you my capability. Let's go into it.
Coming in, and this is in regard to what's coming out of Iran. The news agency Tasneem there says that a US Israeli air attack targeted the nuclear enrichment facility this morning. That's a huge claim that's coming about from the Iranian side. Iran's Tasneem news agency says a US Israeli air attack targeted the nuclear enrichment facility in Iran. That is the visuals that you're seeing on your screen of that nuclear facility was under attack. This is the Israeli air attack targeted this particular nuclear enrichment facility.
Yes. Let me put that back up real quick. You know what time it is. A little advertisement. So, hey, please hit the like. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so you'll be up to date to the latest when we upload a short, when we upload a video, or when we live. We got a few shorts that's popping out. Once you finish this live video, make sure you hit the like and go check out our shorts. Some of them funny, some of them life lesson, some of them politics, some of them dance that will get you in the groove. We got it from all different type of spheres. Please check our shorts out. We got videos that we upload that talk about several different topics. Go ahead, check them out. Hit the like, share, because right now, thanks to you, the people, we are sitting at 11.8K subs. Thanks to you, we about to become monetized, that we could advertise things, get membership, and we could start selling merchandise. Sooner or later, we're gonna be selling merchandise here on YouTube because we don't.
Hey, Henry,
we don't really.
Hold on, Henry. Let me just say something real quick. Let's not forget that we want the people to go ahead and check out that Chuck Norris short, and we let us get a moment of silence for a rest in peace for Chuck Norris. You know what I'm saying? A legend out here in the world. He touched many generations. You know what I'm saying?
In a very positive way, most importantly.
Yes, and also I want to also be known is we don't have to agree or disagree with our political views. Yes, he might have had a viewpoint that leaned towards Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel. That's his political point of view. But him as an individual of charity and contribution to the community in generations that came and will come, put our hats out towards this man. We don't have to hate somebody because their political view. So
Absolutely. And I just want to say one thing. My aunt met him in Alton, Texas. She said he's the type of dude to take groceries out his fridge and put them in your house and take his shirt off your back and put it on you. Like walk in the room and make sure everybody was okay before he left. She met him at some like road. This was early 2000s. You know what I mean? Hey, just asking,
okay,
y'all can hear me okay, right?
yes, you
Yes,
good.
All
sir.
right, cool. All right, I'm just making sure.
And Henry,
I'm about to share.
I wanted to say something because you made a valid point that here on the Newsroom 16.1, we are community building and we base our analysis off of unbiased reporting, unbiased journalism. So it's an important thing that Henry said, that even if we have differentiating political views, we shouldn't be letting that divide us as Americans when it comes to being just regular people in the community, everyday people in the neighborhood.
Described him. The way I walk, the way I talk, I cannot explain the things I feel for you. Described him as one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
When it comes to martial arts legends, few can match the on-screen intensity of Chuck Norris. Let's dive into his 5 most epic fight scenes. At number 5, we have the legendary showdown with Bruce Lee in Way of the Dragon. This fight is a masterclass in martial arts, blending power, technique, and respect between 2 icons. At number 4, the iconic flying kick from Good Guys Wear Black. It's the move that proved Chuck doesn't just fight, he defies gravity. At number 3, the brutal brawl in Lone Wolf McQuade. A dirty, high-stakes fight that showed us the raw toughness of Chuck Norris. Number 2 goes to the Octagon, where Chuck faces off against a horde of ninjas. This scene defined him as the ultimate action hero of his era. And finally, at number 1, the climactic action in Delta Force. Chuck's unstoppable heroics cemented his legacy as a one-man army. From cinematic showdowns to gravity-defying moves, these fights prove why Chuck Norris is a legend. Which one's your favorite?
Described him as one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
Okay, had to give a shout out in prayers and condolences for Chuck Norris and his family. And also, we gotta know that without you, the people, we wouldn't be where we at now. So thank you again, and let's go back into the story. So we had
coming in, and this is in regard to.
And Iranian officials say there is no radiation leakage. Right now, it's unclear whether it was the U.S. or Israel that carried out that mission.
Also overnight, Iran firing 2 ballistic missiles at strategic U.S.-UK military base on the island of Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. It marks the regime's first threat to U.S. interests beyond the Middle East.
Meanwhile, President Trump offering the nation a hopeful update on Operation Epic Fury.
So, have we seen here that Israel said that they did not hit Iran nuclear facility? America said they did not hit Iran nuclear facility, but somebody's supposed to did. From the attack on Iran nuclear facility, Iran wound up shooting missiles and drones towards Israel at their nuclear facility, the Mona. For people who is supposed to be Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, Christians or African American from the Chicago area that moved to the state of Israel, that live in the community of Dimona, or you know about the history of Dimona, give condolences and hope everything okay for that community. Also, from...
Hey, Henry, let me just say this real quick, too, because, you know, me and Tobias, we Hebrew Israelites, so you know what I mean? We want to just make sure we give a shout out to the fellow Hebrew Israelite tribes, because that's where they reside at over there in Israel, is in Dimona, Israel. So we want to make sure that they're all safe too, and they know that we're just making sure that we keep them in our prayers too, because they're
Most
over there
definitely.
trying to fight for the rights of our people back in the holy name. So I just wanted to make sure that we let that be apparent.
And may the Most High be with them, as always.
Yeah. So from also that, Iran, see the CIA and everybody put it on the news that Iran had the capability of striking Southern Europe. But it was just an assumption. It was assumption that Iran had it, or they thought Iran was BSing when Iran laid a test and said, hey, we successfully completed our mission of launching this missile. And a lot of the missiles that they showed was short range. Now we going into the intermediate range. Not long range, but the intermediate range. The intermediate range is a little over 200 km. If y'all know what km means.
You mean kilometers?
Yes. For the
Got
people
you.
who know. Thank you, Tobias.
200
So
I'm just making sure from my
kilometers. That's
understanding.
about
2,000. So what that
we're
means
talking about probably
is
about we're talking about probably 10,000 miles.
Damn.
what that mean is Iran had the capability to hit India. And Iran had a
That's
capability
definitely true, Henry.
and Iran had a capability to hit Greece, able to hit all the way to maybe Serbia. So that's a lot of military assets for NATO to worry about.
Henry, that's the when they hit the when they shot the missiles at Diego Garcia, that was about 2,500 miles that they shot those missiles. So people could have a equivalent. 2,500 miles is like being able to shoot from Boston to St. Louis.
Boston, Massachusetts, for St. Louis, Missouri. I'm just playing Missouri. So as we see here we go.
And Iranian officials say there is no radiation leakage. Right now, it's unclear whether it was the U.S. or Israel that carried out that mission.
Also overnight, Iran firing 2 ballistic missiles at strategic.
I just wanted to show that piece again, as to the point that for the people who living in that region around these nuclear facilities, these incidents would be worse than Chernobyl. Let me get everybody on stage.
Henry, remember when we was talking about Henry? Remember when we said that on the previous show about the the first bombing before the war started, and we was talking about that, right? Because they was like, oh, when President Trump was like, we hit up the nuclear facility, blah blah blah. In that show, we had said something real critical too, that a lot of people don't realize, that you could kind of tell that either they're doing precision strikes or they're bluffing about blowing the nuclear facility, because two things are going to happen when you blow the nuclear facility. Number one, the immediate area, like Henry said, is going to be exposed to open radiological waste, the open radiological particulates. Then you have to put into effect that if they're using high level explosive like 2 megaton bombs to blow these facilities, those concussive blasts and the explosion itself. Everybody knows you see the explosion that comes up with the mushroom cloud. So all the nuclear particulates is going to go to the highest point in the atmosphere before it bounces off the top of the firmament. And then the concussive blast is going to cause it to spread out like this everywhere, right? Now, in the current nuclear research on history, geology, based on geology, they have found out that when the United States dropped the nuclear weapons on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, they were finding, which they're still finding, radioactive material as far away as in Africa, West Africa, the Congo jungle, and the most eastern parts of the United States and South America, which means that the nuclear particulates from those explosions in 1945 actually spread to the whole world through the process in science that they call diffusion, where molecules go from a high concentration to a lower concentration until it reaches equilibrium, which means that when the initial explosion happened in Hiroshima, it didn't stop spreading out until all the nuclear radiation was equally distributed across the earth.
Yeah. And we see right now that it's scary for regular people, for regular civilians all around the world, because the scary part is also is that the people who are high up that's calling these shots is planning on sending ground troops. We have Iranian officials. No, not Iranian official, Ukrainian official, because we talked on the show about the shooting of missiles. America is using jets, missiles, two missiles shooting to attack single target drones, wasting the money.
Right.
They calling the Ukrainian experts to come through and seeing like, hey, United States, y'all would be getting y'all butt whooped by Russians and the drones if y'all was facing Russia.
Brother Henry, just to ask you, and of course St. Patrick and Jamal, y'all might have knowledge on this, but what is Iranian technology like when it comes to the drones, and are they up to date, or do they have like a more outdated, or what's that word called, obsolete? Do they have up to date drone technology?
So it's just like this. The United States sent the drone to Iran. That means the technology in that drone is the best of the best. Iran took that drone and re-engineered it.
Okay.
But the pieces to build a drone is cheap. It's cheap to build a drone, but the functions of the drone is still the same.
Yeah, and don't forget, Henry, the Iranians, other than Israel and the United States and Turkey, the Iranians got the most high-tech drones in the world right now.
Yeah.
That sounds super
Not to mention that the Iranians also, not to mention that something that a lot of people don't know, the Iranians, when they came to the World Technological Conference, they also had one of the world's most advanced Android humans, too. Android humans that are even better than the ones that Elon Musk is building.
So when it come down to the missiles, let's talk about the missile technology. We see that Iran missiles, some of them is capable of being bunker busters, where it could go inside, punch a hole into the ground with an explosion, and once it's inside the ground, it explode again 2 times. And we also see that they have cluster ammunition. So the missile blow up or break apart in midair, and small charges shoot out. Smaller missiles shoot out and cause damage in the wide range area. So now we see the Iranian told us, but we assumed that they were just stunting on us. We see that they got inter-range missiles and missiles capable of going all the way to the island of Cyprus. And also now we see that their missile is capable of reaching the island of Diego Garcia, which they said that the missiles did not make it because the warship knocked down one and the other one went down on its own. But if possible, that would show that United States stealth bombers, the stealth bomber, is not safe. It would be the first time showing America that America airplanes would have to move backwards a little further away from the target. So now,
Henry, let me
let's
read this off real quick. I just asked
okay.
Google about it, right? So I'm gonna read this off so we can really get a good idea of what's going on. So, based on Iranian missile reports and their current capabilities, they have a range of approximately 2,500 to 3,000 miles. So, they said that this is a far-reaching range, and they could hit the capitals of major countries in Central and Western Europe, including Germany, Berlin, Italy, Rome, France, Paris, Austria, Finland, and London, UK. That is how that is those are the countries that right now, with their current missiles, Iran has the ability to knock off.
Anyone y'all have anything to say, Tobias St. Patrick?
Yes, yes. So yeah, why do you think the Europeans are not jumping in the prey? Bush asked the Europeans off the dump, hey, look, we want to open up the Straits of Hormuz. We don't want to use our ships. How about using your own ships to help us out with this and possibly, help us for a forward ground invasion? You know, Europeans said, nah, we don't like those odds because it ain't open. Oh, okay. Belly. I'm sorry, y'all, about that. But yeah, I was looking at it. I was like, all right, why wouldn't the Europeans? They love jumping in Central Asian bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they jumped in within Afghanistan. You feel me? Really jumped in on Afghanistan, and the Afghanistans whipped their butt just like everybody else that stepped into Afghanistan. You know, right now the Afghanistanians said, "Hey, we'll jump in with support and manpower and everything to help you out, Iran, if it comes to it." So the Pakistanians said, "Hey, man, we gonna bog down the Afghanistans because we know if the Afghanistans jump in this prey, it's over with. It's over with." So that's what y'all need to be worried about. You know what I'm saying? The Europeans know this. If they have Afghanistan jumping in, they got a kickback. If they get a hold to the technology and power of missile technology, come on, man. They got a story to tell. You know, they've been warring with the whole world and got their financial banking system demolished by the World Bank. They just getting theirs back. Their billions of dollars. They was the world leading country in finance and money. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't understand, why did they got jumped on? Because their banking power was covert banking. You know what I'm saying? They dealt with everybody in the Heron engagement. You know what I'm saying? Their money was long and rebuilding with rubies, emeralds, gold. You know what I'm saying? That's why America was in there to stop their economic flow, to seize their banking power. Same thing for Iran. They trying to seize the banking power. You know what I'm saying? Consolidate their banking under theirs. China already in, so don't worry about that. China in. China trying to stay in. You know, they trying to stay in. So we were Russia and Iran are the two nations that got their own banking power. You know what I'm saying? They rival the Americans and Europeans because the Americans and the Europeans are broke since they've been kicked out and pushed out of Africa. You know what I'm saying? America's still holding on to a small empire in the Western Hemisphere. You know what I'm saying? China been approaching on that. That's why they had to take out Venezuela to show the rest of the hemisphere, hey, we'll come get you too. You know what I'm saying? Our doctrine is now not a republic. We're now a we're now a dictatorship. Where Congress don't have power to declare war, a president can. You know what I'm saying? He could do whatever he wants. And ain't nobody put him in check. Nobody called for it. Nobody say, hey, man, this a rogue
Fascism is
president.
apparent,
This ain't even,
St. Patrick.
yeah, this ain't this thing ain't even declare war. This is a special military operation. You know what I'm saying?
That's the
So
same thing President
Bush
Vladimir
did.
Putin said when Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine. He said, "Hey, this is a special military operation," and he's still labeling that. And Donald Trump labeled this a special Operation Fury. We see that he said over
Hold
and
on, Henry.
over
Hold
and
on, hold on,
over
hold on.
again. It's
Henry.
supposed to be winding down.
So it's Operation Epic Fury, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put people on because I said it already in the show about the Bible, the Book of Revelation, right? Henry, what is an epic? What is an epic?
Is it
In the
kind of
Greek sense, what's an epic?
like a legendary journey?
Yeah, like like Odyssey, or if they're telling you the story of Hercules or Zeus, right? So we got to understand epic fury, right? So what is fury? We know what fury is, right? Nick Fury, I'm gonna bring the Marvel comics in it off rip.
You got to.
Nick Fury, right? What was Nick Fury doing in the Avengers? He was going to war with the whole world, bro.
Right.
Right? Nick Fury, he had them ships in the air. He was bringing superhuman metahumans out in order to fight people in other countries that they deemed was threats in the earth. If they thought you was a threat, they were sending the Hulk, Thor, and all of them in there, right? So we ain't that's in the movie, but if we're comparing it to real life, you know what I'm saying? We just gonna say Hulk, Thor, Iron Man. You know, we're talking about. So if we're talking about American military, we talking about the stealth bombers, the F-35s, the F-15s. We talking about the
Marines.
Patriot missile system. We talking about intercontinental ballistic missiles. We're talking about Marine Corps advancements through
Green
amphibious
Berets.
assaults. We're talking about Delta Force. We're talking about airborne rangers. We're talking about the Navy SEALs executing missions. And then on top of that, to go with what St. Patrick was talking about, they might have took out the Iranian leadership, and the people who's the leadership right now in Iran might be CIA assets. Let's not even front. You know what I'm saying? They could be CIA assets out here. And the reason why we can have that understanding is because of the collusion on the oil market. Me and Henry was talking about this definitely in the back chat about how the collusion to allow Iran to still sell their oil on the open market is a play at basically trying to take the Arabs in the OPEC nation, the Arab nations that are in OPEC, out of the fold by strictly selling the Western oil through the United States and Venezuela and the Eastern oil through Iran, and then trying to cut out Qatar, Bahrain, UAE, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia from being able to sell their oil in the world markets in order to, and not to be funny, in order to bankrupt those countries. And on top of that, to be able to steal, you know, without there's no better word to say, to steal Iran, Qatar, and the UAE's financial investment and not ever have to sell them the AI missile guidance systems that they gave us trillions of dollars 6 months ago for. That's how it's. If we put it in street terms, it sounds like the United States went on a juke real quick. They got them real quick on a juke.
They bust the play. And I got one thing to add to what Jamal said. My bad. I got one thing to add what you said. It all started. It all started just like you was bringing out the Nick Fury analogy. It all started as an initiative. Even, you feel me, on Congress and Trump, and it all started as an initiative. No different from the Avengers.
And that brings into play what St. Patrick said again about them taking out the 7 nations. You know, there's 7 nations that they wanted to overthrow the United States government. And St. Patrick was on point again with that because we're already 5 deep. We took out 5 of them. It's only 2 left. North Korea and China.
What you was saying, St. Pat?
All right, so when they sit back, they like, all right, why you look at the Gulf states as being eliminated and the oil market and the oil play is because Israel need them weak. They oppose a major threat to Israel growth. They finance the Al Qaeda operatives, you know what I'm saying, in that region to do America bidding so they don't have to do it themselves, right? They furnish the soldiers, find the mercenaries, the Islamic jihadists, mercenaries from around the Islamic world that want to participate in jihad, right? You know, a holy war, and furnish them to the different regions and stuff. They wanted to knock out that cooperation by crippling them financially because they decided to change their financial goal in OPEC to sell in the yuan. They decided to go with China economically instead of keeping their ties with the West. So they wanted to cripple them. You know what I'm saying? So the Iranians, the crypto Iranians, I want to call them, because they're really, you know, they the CIA agents. Like my brothers say, they the CIA, you know, Malik say that they the CIA agents are undercover. You feel me? Running the Iranian government. You know what I'm saying? You think they ain't hit no aircrafts. They just wanted to show, hey, we could touch you. Nah, if you really wanted to do it, you'd have did it. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to escalate. You know what I'm saying? Because you inside. You just want to keep it in the region. You don't want to escalate anything. You don't want to cause anything, because if you could hit, we know they can hit Cyprus because they hit Cyprus. You know what I'm saying? Cyprus is a European nation. They fall under the article of treaties of war. If you hit them, it's all out war. They hit Turkey. You know what I'm saying? It's another NATO member. They didn't do shit to him. Turkey said, all right, just stop doing it. I know you hit a couple Kurdish people. We don't care about the Kurds, but keep it on your side of the border this time. That's how they just come on, man. That was articles of war for all NATO nations to jump in.
Yeah.
That's why Trump say, man, NATO dead, man. Y'all ain't ready for that shit. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna run this shit how we want to run it. Y'all gonna send us y'all troops later on when we ask again, and we ain't gonna tell y'all no more. You feel me? That's how you talking. So just understand
Hey,
how you
Pat,
getting
them
down.
Europeans are soft, bro.
Huh?
I said them Europeans, they soft. That's why they're soft.
Hey, bro, listen to me. The Germans are itching to gain back their power. That's why they ask for nukes, because they the only crazy ones out of Europeans that are used and act as a first strike technique to diminish and demolish the ramal of the empire or whoever coming against them. Hit them with a nuke real quick and then invade them. You feel me? Shocking all my ass, nigga. We in. How you like us now? See, they the only ones. They know the Germans. They always got this faint blood. They don't want to bring up the Prussians. You know what I'm saying? Who was breeding little kids from birth, like the Spartans. You know what I'm saying? To go to war. They don't want to go that far back. Now so they really don't. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about war and empires and the fighting spirit, the French kind of, fugazi, the British, y'all don't want to know, they get down with the get down. They been pumping each other. That's why they got the Freemasons, where they bend you over the kidney stone, the royal stone, and the royal scepter, and give it to you. You know what I'm saying? So you could be loyal to the crown. Don't go tell nobody what you done in this room now. You know what I'm saying? That's how they get down. Now here's a title, here's a royal decree, here's your surname, and here's a little plot of land that you could tend to. You know what I'm saying? That's how they get down. And you know what I'm saying? They keep it out the public, keep it away from your family and your friends. You look outstanding on paper and in the public eye. They've been doing that. That's what Epstein Island was about. It came out, you know what I'm saying? But, they got other parties going on.
Hey, don't
They got
forget they got
other
Prince
P.
Charles
Diddy's.
over there.
Let's
Can
go.
I say
Don't
one
forget
thing real
Prince
quick?
Charles got bagged up.
Wait, hold on just a moment. We're gonna play this
I'm sorry.
video and then Tobias, you gonna say
All
something.
right, my bad. I was getting too deep for you.
No. Y'all good. Y'all good. Ain't no thing.
So
We
let's
good.
play this video and then we're gonna chop it some more.
The Israeli military says an Iranian missile has hit Dimona in southern Israel. The city is home to Israel's central nuclear facility. At least 47 people have been injured in the attack. Hezbollah also claimed responsibility for an attack on a residential building in the city of Ma'alot Tashina in the north. Now, those attacks come after Iran reported its Natanz nuclear facility was attacked on Saturday. The United Nations nuclear watchdog has called for military restraint to avoid the risk of a radiation leak in Iran. Israel claims it wasn't involved in the attack.
Yeah, so Tobias, what you wanted to say before the video?
Oh, damn. What was I gonna say? Oh, the fact that brother Patrick had brought up the talking about the Germans. The Germans in the 20th century, the Germans have been the most influential at warfare from World War One to World War II. And if you think they're gonna be absent in quote unquote World War III, you're dead ass wrong. I just wanted to touch on what brother Patrick said.
You got to rebuild. You got to rebuild the Prussian Empire, which with the Poles and the Germans. You feel
With the
me?
Germans, the Franks,
Yeah,
the last of the Asian horde.
yeah. You got to rebuild this empire again. You know what I'm saying? You got to bring them back together again because they're a divided family. You know what I'm saying? The what we call them the man e the brother I forgot that brother name
Esau.
Esau. Yeah, there you go. There you go. You hit it right on the nose, bro. Yeah, Esau family again. You know, they got to unite again. You know what I'm saying? They got to go against the horde of the East. You feel me? Genghis Khan horde. That's what they call them from the East. The East got to swallow Central Asia again because you got to unify the blocks because they got to come against the Africans. The Africans are
So
the African.
And hold on, let me and say, Patrick, you know what's funny? In the book of Revelation, right? It tells you to be that because remember, so Catholicism, Christianity is all Western philosophy, Western religion. So in the book of Revelation, it says in the Greek, you'll know him by the number of his name, right? Which in the Greek is chi stigma, right? Then why is it that chi stigma, the other day I found out on an epiphany, and I look into it, it said that's Xi Jinping, China. You know what I'm saying? That's his name outright, bro, in Greek, Xi Jinping. You know what I'm saying? And they was telling us outright, oh, yep, them Chinese is going to come through. Them Chinese is going to come through. Right now, so if we looking at it on some warfare type, Lord of the Rings type style warfare, right? The Iranians is like the little niggas that they sending in the beginning. You know what I mean? They're sending the Iranians in to soften them up.
Right.
So that way, when the big dogs come in, the Chinese, like they showed off in the movie, it's the orcs. Now they're gonna start sending the real dangerous folks up in there. You know, they showed it on 300. They're gonna start sending them untouchables up in here. They're gonna send a little bit of them orcs and them monsters in. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna send some giant Nephilims up. They're gonna send some android kung fu robots. They showed us that in Ninja Turtles. Come on, bro. They showed us on Ninja Turtles. The Shredder's whole army was robot ninjas. You know what I'm saying? And then China is showing us on which me and Henry got a video on that. If you guys want to go check it out on the channel, that China has a whole squad that knows black belt kung fu.
Damn.
The whole android human squad of these robots know kung fu. And they showed the whole demonstration of their martial art prowess, which me and Henry showed in the clips in the other video on the other show.
See, when I study history, it's like this. A lot of people put modern day European and Europe around before the Romans. But most people got to realize that when the Roman fell, you had Sats, you have Gauls, Visigoths. You had many people that moved into Europe, and that all came by way of Asia, where you had Attila the Hun. People gotta realize Attila the Hun came before Genghis Khan. Attila the Hun, his people was running away from Asia. Then from Attila the Hun, people gotta understand that's when the time that you start having the Turk trial, the Turkish trial, the Seljuk Turks and the Khazarians. Who they was running away from? The
The
Mongols.
Ottoman Turks.
They started running away from the Mongols. See, from the east they run west.
And don't forget, Henry, they was running also from the Ottoman Turks in the south from modern day Turkey and
Yes, that's why I said
Azerbaijan. Because remember the
the
Seljuk,
Seljuk Turk.
the Seljuk Turks and the Khazarians are where, and so people know, we got to remember that a lot of people don't know geography, that they're in what we call today modern day Serbia, Eastern Europe, was where those areas was where they was from, in the steppes of the Caucasus Mountain, where
The steps of
the
the
Ottoman
Caucasus
Turks
Mountain.
came from southern Turkey and Azerbaijan.
Yeah, so these people, when you start doing lineages and stuff like that in the time frame, it's not as far back that these people start coming into existence. When I say people, nations, their name, their function, their grouping as a culture or organism. So we have a rude awakening where we could now see that a lot of governments saying, hey, this happened in history where the currency. People got to understand that if before America was even created, who accepted the dollar as legal tendency in the first place? So it must have a system that accepts all currency to judge this currency without the person who's supposed to be doing negotiation manipulation.
Wouldn't that
So
be
if I
Switzerland, Henry?
there's many areas and many organizations, as we got banking system in Switzerland, yes, and we also got banking system in UK and
No, but
also
I'm
in
saying like
New
what you were
York.
saying about they need that Switzerland is the central location where you could come with any currency and be able to turn it into other currency, like into United States dollars or the yuan, or if you had Russian rubles, you would still be able to go there and open up bank accounts with those currency forms and be able to operate in the world's economic markets.
Yeah, it Switzerland don't have a lot of bank regulations. So we can move to the next video.
What we know and what has been cleared by the military censor is that there were 3 different impact sites in Dimona. One 3-story building has collapsed, and there were several fires reported. The paramedics have reported 47 people injured. One 10-year-old boy seems to be suffering from several shrapnel wounds, and his condition is being described as critical but stable. This is not the first time that Dimona was targeted, but it certainly is the first time that we see such extensive damage to the point where videos were immediately seen on social media, posted by eyewitnesses, by the residents of the city. So that's the information that we know about what happened, that was cleared again by the military.
You know what I noticed? All these modern wars is getting fought by people who steal other people's identity. Think about it. You got the converts. They still in their legendary story people. When I say legendary in other way, what I mean is they taking people from ancient times that do not have no connections to them, which they join in by converting to the religion that rotate around another culture. So they took these people' identity. And we also understand that the Iranians took over the Persian Empire and the Persian culture, but they are not Persian.
They're
The
not the
ancient
Achaemenid,
Persian,
Henry.
yeah, they not the Achaemenid where you have Darius or Cyrus the Great. These are
Or even
Iranians,
Xerxes too.
the
Don't forget
Persian.
Xerxes.
Yes. So when we see on the movie 300, correct? Was it 300 or 500?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
300. We see that for Xerxes to be God King, he must be dipped in the God essence, which mean not make him, but which mean he must been a melanated figure. In the movie, for him to stand among the gods, he was a melanated figure. And with
That's
that,
why on the second movie, Henry, they show him get dipped into the gold.
yes, and also when we see images on the Persian wall, they are melanated people, and we see people coming from the Levant, which also include the Canaanite area, Canaan, with people who seem to be going into bondage with cornrows and different kind of texture hair that show they was melanated features.
And let's put people on with the modern day descendants of the Canaanites, which they represented every day, and they're another people that technically took the identity of Canaan. So we talking about the Chinese with that. That's another player, Henry. Like you said, it's funny how the wars and these struggles is between these nations who stole ancient people's identity and are claiming to be the descendants of these people without having any blood relation to these actual people.
Yes, yes. So just like United States, you feel?
All right. Then can I get y'all into the metaphysics for a second?
Yes, go ahead, break it, break it.
All right, listen to me. You understand that recreation is not just DNA wise. Recreation is the mind. You know what I'm saying? You recreate mind, image, motivation, creativity. The gods are recreating, self-recreating, right? I don't need another to recreate myself, right? If you hear a person that's trying to emulate Stevie Wonder, they they're emulating him. They don't have no DNA connection to this man, but they're emulating. Alicia Keys, they're emulating, right? Break dancing, they're emulating blacks, right? So how is that any different from someone reading a story and describing that story or implanting that story onto the spiritual self? Because the spirit is always recreating. Like we don't die, we just come back in a different form. So when we hear our story, right, it resonates with us, no matter what generation, no matter what body we're in. It just resonates with us. Like this is where we should be at, right? That's the same story as the Bible. It's a self-recreating. You get this spiritual awakening that this story resonates with you. Some kind of deeper feel that these people belong to you in some form or some fashion, right? Also, Abraham has many children, and many children has Abraham as a father. So how can your seed become as multiple as the stars if God doesn't recreate the mind? The spirituality within human beings that codify what Islam is. The peace that God gives one person, and not now we all brothers and sisters under one banner. That whatever nation we in, we're under that one banner. Yeah, I know they got so many. They got Armenian Americans. They got Chinese Americans. They got Japanese Americans. They're all Americans. You know, they got Vietnamese Americans. Thai American. They got Bangladesh Americans. They got Indian Americans. They got from India, not the indigenous Americans, from Wichita tribe or some of the major tribes in America that been here for centuries, but they all are Americans. That's how we became the Confederacy. You know what I'm saying? All nations come together to a pale, the pale face. You know what I'm saying? When they was vain and they was doing their trickery of magic upon our people. You know what I'm saying? With the literary arts and so forth. But when we think of, self multiplication, it's not just a bloodline, it's a spiritual, mental reproduction self. You know what I'm saying? I can have people who follow me of different nationalities. You know what I'm saying? But if they think alike like me, like Lenin used to say, if they think like me, then they me. Let's go do what I would do. You know what I'm saying? You know, so that's how you get the polyot. You know what I'm saying? We're the worker. You know what I'm saying? We're all the same. You know what I'm saying? Us at the bottom, we are us at the bottom row. We to higher European standard, we're the Goyim, we're the worker. You know what I'm saying? We're all the same. We all cattle, need to be herded in one form or another. We're told a script and we're supposed to follow it. We're told a name and we're supposed to go with it. You know what I'm saying? So that we're self-duplicating. You know what I'm saying? Then we tell our kids the same script. Follow in line, stay in line. This is what we do. So yes, we're reproducing something that we don't know of. Only when we start reading and educating ourselves, then we start realizing the high self of Godhood and understanding that we're the people, we're gods up on the face of the earth. You know what I'm saying? And we reproduce ourselves through our literary works, from people reading our thoughts, and then they're emulating it. Now they become just like us. You know what I'm saying? When we think about economics, you know what I'm saying? Why we go with the capitalists? Because it's more of a selfish economic scheme. You know what I'm saying? Why we don't go with communism that relies on the group uh collective, you know what I'm saying? That everybody's equal, Everybody could get in the field and get it in. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their time to get it in. You know what I'm saying? Or how any philosophy. You know what I'm saying? On certain things are reproducing. So it's the same way with spirituality. You know, if you follow Hinduism, then you reproduce in Hinduism. You don't have to have nothing to do with India. You know what I'm saying? But you reproduce in that the physiological works, the spiritualogical makeup of who you believe that you are, India. So that the concept. You know what I'm saying? How some people could say, hey, I'm Indian, don't have nothing to do with an Indian from North America and dress up like an Indian and parade like one. You know what I'm saying? But dance like Central Asians. You know, I don't want to get
For
into the
real.
pretendians.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You know,
We're gonna have a show
that's
on
Hey, but
that,
I
Shin.
wanted to say this, St. Patrick, right? Because you're going into the metaphysical, right? So let me just say this one thing too, applied for the applied history of what Henry was talking about and how it relates, because everything that St. Patrick said is a fact, you know, with especially in the way that Trump and the Republican Party is trying to have this viewed as a spiritual war, you know, a holy war. But I know for a fact that this is just a way to justify land claims post the Napoleonic Wars. If you really want to be specific about how and what it's really about. And I'm going to repeat it one more time because you know how Dr. Umar says you got to say it 3 times for people to get it. This is the justification for all the land claims of imperialism after the Napoleonic Wars. So, if you guys don't know, the era post the Napoleonic Wars was the era of imperialization, colonization, leading into the modern day industrialization, which me and Henry have gone over this in shows before too, based on caste system, employment, and other governmental and economic forms of progress and prosperity based on money and manufacturing.
Yes, yes. Okay, I also wanted to let y'all know because Shin touched on a good point. History 101 for everybody who don't know. Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor Napoleon, wasn't a real person. The same Napoleon Bonaparte is Alexander the Great and also AKA Apollo. Napoleon is Apollo, the sun god. It's another legendary figure that they created. So now, that's just a little history 101. Let's let's just say this. We'd like to thank everybody for tuning into the show tonight. We had, let me pop it up, everybody. So we ain't playing. The team. We had the squad here tonight. You see the squad? We posted up. This all 4 of us. We have Tobias. We have St. Pat. We have none other than Shin Akuma, JML. And none other than me, Henry, chilling in the newsroom, 16.1. We live. We bring the information. We wasn't around here bashing United States. We wasn't here bashing Israel. We wasn't out here bashing Iran. We just laying down some factual information going on. We going to drive the facts. One, YouTube going to try to block us or blacklist us or something if we come up with any inch of false information because we touching on very touchy topics. But we want to thank you all for coming and watching us tonight as we just start dropping information back and forth. Please hit the like, subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell notification so when we go live or drop a short or upload a video, you be first to notify, be the first to know. Share the information, get your friends and family member, and become a subscriber of Newsroom 16.1. We growing. We growing with your help. If y'all have free time after this live video, type in www.newsroom16.com. That's our website. You could leave a review, a star rating. It go all the way from 1 to 5-star rating on our video and the page, and also you could leave a comment on the channel so we can see how you like the channel or dislike the channel. Also, we is on TikTok under newsroom _16, and also Cash App if you would like to donate anything to help the channel is newsroom 16. Make sure you put the $sign newsroom 16. That's our Cash App. If y'all want to throw $1 or something, it'll help go so far. Appreciate it a lot. So Saint, you want to say something as a guest before we
Man,
close
thank
out?
y'all for letting me be a part of this, man. You know what I'm saying? Get out my ideas and thoughts. Show, salute to anybody that's going through hardships and pain, man. I hope y'all get better and I hope things get up. If you're going through it, just understand, man, go out, feel your pain. Just keep on striving. There is better days if you keep on living. So that's all.
Oh, I got a question before we move forward. Is that the fire department, the Amalam, police? We the news. We want to be nosy. What's going on?
Hey, at my building, man, there seem to be the fire department as well as the ambulance. So the fire department and the ambulance, they together and they're down the street from my house. So anytime you have an emergency, the fire department they there first before the ambulance come. So they assist the situation and then turn around. Uh, it's just what you call them in the building. I don't know who it's about. I just moved away from them to let them do their thing, so I could still be on the show and talk and so forth. That's basically all the information I got for you right now.
So it's not a protest. That's good. It's not ICE. That's good.
I don't go to protesters, man. I don't do that because I understand it's a ploy, especially when you're a black guy. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, I don't. You feel me?
Yeah.
Nah, that's
Okay.
the justification of killing you, man. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? You out there, the first thing they'll say he was looting. He had a gun on. You know what I'm saying? His cell phone was packing. Nah, nah. You know what I'm saying? Even though you got the right to bear arms, no. America is not America no more. Especially it's never been.
Hey,
When
St.
we
Patrick, you know already. You know what it is.
yeah, because
That's how you know what.
we only
That's
been
hold on,
human
hold on, hold on. I
beings
gotta say this.
for
I gotta
the
say this
for 30
because with
years.
you and Henry being from Louisiana, And you know what I mean? And even though I'm from Rhode Island, I was taught this by my parents too, because us born in the 80s, we was given a different education than people now, especially black folk. We go by the black codes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
And
we
that's
only
one of the
been look.
main
It's only
that's one of the
been
main codes. Hold up. Let me say this because this is
yeah.
important education for youth. And one of the main codes in the black codes is if you're a person of color, you do not go into places where it's crowded with people, because then you are easily to become the target. That's the black codes. I don't know if you're in the youth and you don't know what I'm talking about. You just do a quick Google search on the black codes, and you're gonna understand how our ancestors was moving 100 years ago, 75 years ago. They wasn't moving how y'all YNs and all y'all
All right,
folk is moving out
because
here today. You guys ain't
you
moving
gotta understand like
accordingly.
this. There's only been one, two generations in our family that's being classified as human beings. Because the Dred Scott declared, you know what I'm saying, we weren't human beings at a point in time. You know what I'm saying? That we was only 1/5 of human beings. You know what I'm saying? So in America, you understand, we was treated most of the history of America, we was treated like animals. You were darker skin and you didn't have money, you was treated like an animal. You know what I'm saying? And then you get
Hey,
into
but
this
you know what's funny
generation.
about that, St. Patrick? It's ironic. It's ironic, right?
Yeah,
Because
so bam, my generation, my mama, you feel me, was the first generation that experienced where she had all rights as a human being. Then it's my generation, right? But my daddy, when he was born in 1920, he had no rights as a human being at all. You know what I'm saying? He only exists. You know what I'm saying? So that mentality always sticks through our generation because we was taught different. You know what I'm saying? We was taught how to move in a society that did not accept us. You know what I'm saying? And still don't accept us. You know what I'm saying? They're still from us, but they will not accept us. They will not give us recognition for the things that we have
they
done
tell
and
us they
brought to
tolerate. They
society.
tolerate.
Yeah. Like that. That's exactly what exactly the word I
They
needed to use.
tolerate.
Yeah, they tolerate
And
us. You know
and
what I'm saying?
and like
Knowing that
and
they
you
can't
gotta
do without
realize
us.
something too. Hold on, St. Patrick, because I gotta put you on with some metaphysical wisdom, because you put some physical wisdom out earlier. You gotta realize what you just said, and Henry, you can back me up on this. You just said that it was so we was classified as 3/5 of a man. In the other half, we was classified. The other 2/5 was classified as an animal, right? So technically, ironically, in Greek, which remember they all operate off the Greek because they're masonry, they were technically calling us demigods, because that is what a demigod is.
Yes, it
A
is. Because
demigod,
you gotta understand like this.
hold on, let me say this part. And I know because my zodiac sign is a demigod, which is the Sagittarius, half man, half horse. He's a demigod, right? So you have to understand, they were telling us the code of the ancient the whole time. Because, and then think about it. What do we say with the 5% knowledge all the time? You just said it earlier, St. Patrick. We're the gods. We are the gods. We're the offspring of the gods. Then even when you go to the biblical, it even says we're the children of God, which that makes us what in the technicality in the Greek, demigods.
Yes. So look, when they when you talk about Osiris, I remember y'all was talking about your boy Xerxes, you know what I'm saying, from 300, you know what I'm saying, when he towered among the men and he stood among the gods. There is a group of people in Africa, you feel me, wherever they went in the world, because they towered among the men, you feel me, I think they in Sudan, South Sudan, Ethiopia region. You know what I'm saying? These men and they women stand like 10 feet tall. I'm not 10 feet, but 7 feet, 8 feet tall. They're real tall people. You feel me? They real dark skinned people. They're like real dark melanin people, man, bro. They're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I forgot I think Limba people or something like that. Forgive me if I'm quoting their name wrong or something like that. But no smoke, homie. Move around. What's up, my friend? All right. No. I'm on a podcast. Oh, okay. Doing a show with my brother. All right. So Big Doe, we sit back, and these are the people they went to Mesopotamia, right? With the knowledge of the Egyptians, because they just learned the knowledge in Egypt, right? They took that knowledge and they settled in on the Euphrates, Nile Valley. They already had people there, right? But they were a little shorter people. They was more smaller, more smart people, and they didn't really live in houses. They didn't know how to build brick. They didn't know how to do this, but they lived there in little huts and fashions. You know what I'm saying? And read little houses with statue. So the people left, you know what I'm saying, with the 40-year knowledge and went there and settled there, and they towered. They real tall black people, and they settled there, and they built the ziggurats, and they created agriculture, and they started importing it around the world. These are the Cushitic people. This is your people that come from Nimrod. You feel me? These are the ones that they call fallen angels because they left out of Africa where Africa was plentiful to come to a region that wasn't so plentiful, that was kind of barren, but it had a river going through it, and they knew you could channel the river and create a civilization. You could build houses, and the little small villages around, they dominated them and they overtook them, and they called them gods, and that's where you get your Anunnaki from. Yeah, and which come, they say these people come from outer space. They don't. Just their spirituality, the spiritual mind state of a higher being coming to lesser people, short, starved people that live there like animals. That's where when you get into the story of Inky and Enkidu and the battle with the half man and half god, training him to be a human being after he get him some Funati. You know what I'm saying? It goes deep. You know what I'm saying? The philosophies.
And
Give me a
and if
second.
you guys want to
Pass
check
it by.
that out,
So
and if you guys want to check that out, we have a video where Henry showed Tucker Carlson and those two and the two twin brothers. Remember Henry? They was in the crowd, and Tucker Carlson said that he wasn't gonna stand up because he wasn't gonna look little next to them. You know what I mean? But they was huge. Henry brought that clip out in the in a previous video, a show that we did in a live show.
So let's get this right.
What you want me to get ready to close the show out, Henry?
Yes. We had another wonderful night. Another video close to 2 hours long. We made it. It was lovely. Thank you, Tobias, for coming through. You couldn't stay here forever, but we appreciate you for coming through. We want to thank you, St. Pat, for coming through again. Thank you, Shin Akuma, for your hard work and dedication. I'm going to give a pat on my back because we've been chopping it up. This weekend, we got to put in work. We putting in the work. Hey, our videos been passing 100 recently. We getting to work. Never in the work and service. That's the main key. So I'm your host, Henry Williams. Shin, you got any last word before we go?
You already know. Positive vibes bring positive results. Positive results means you're accomplishing your goals. Just because you're going through a negative circumstance doesn't mean you can't have a positive outcome. So stay ambitious, stay inspired, stay determined, overcome that adversity, and climb that mountain, so get to them summits.